Ed, last time we were chatting, you were progressing along your career in that big city, London. What's the next stage for a stand-up? Is the sort of Shangri-La to go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival?
Yeah, I'd say the two major things that where comedians make their names nowadays, and yeah, certainly when I was starting out, and I think still nowadays, is the London circuit and the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. To a certain extent, the internet now has come into play as well. But even still, I don't think it's as important as just working live. And yeah, the Edinburgh Fringe is a massive marketplace for new comics. They have a lot of. When I was new, they had just one new act competition called So You Think You're Funny. Now there's quite a number of different ones. There's Muse Moose. The Daily Telegraph used to sponsor one. Avalon had their own one. There was a bunch of different ones. But there's that for new acts, and then there's also you can go, you do a package show first of all a lot of the time. In '95 I did a show with Andrew Maxwell and Kevin Hayes called Young, Gifted and Green, which just three Irish comics. There's also Avalon. There's a thing called the Comedy Zone, which is a 4-person comedy package. That's a common thing for people to do. First off, Just the Tonic do one as well. There's a bunch of different ones. And then, your first one-man show. I did my first one-man show in Edinburgh in '96 then. And then you get your Perrier nominations. When I started out, there was no newcomer nomination. It was just you either won newcomer or you didn't. Now there's a big list of what's no longer called a Perrier. It's quite complicated, isn't it? Now that I realise, now that I've started talking about it, it's actually all quite complicated. But there's a bunch of awards that can be won across the board, from newcomer to more long in the tooth. It's also the Edinburgh Fringe Festival is generally the first place you get reviewed as a comic. Generally, there's no one going around reviewing, certainly not in print, reviewing comedy in London or live in general.
Yeah.
There's very little of it done outside of the Edinburgh Fringe. So that can a lot of the time be the first time you can get any kind of a press quote. And all that kind of stuff, the media attention that surrounds the Edinburgh Fringe Festival can just be, if you have a really good fringe, can just be the thing that can take you on to the next level.
And how did you first get up there? Were you picked? You earned your stripes in London and you were asked to come on these joint tours?
Well, the thing about the Edinburgh Fringe is anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. Anyone can hire a venue and put themselves on. So it is an all-comers festival. But also, yes, I was a promoter who had already done Young, Gifted and Green once before with 3 other Irish comedians, including Ardal O'Hanlon. I was on the lookout for a similar package the following year, and she picked 3 of us off the circuit and put us on up there. So there is that way of doing it, and it's generally you lose less money that way if somebody else is promoting you and that sort of thing, rather than just doing it all yourself. It's nice to just have someone else do it for you professionally. But you can, you don't have to be picked by someone. You can go and just put a show on yourself.